Hello everyone. So in this video, I'm going to discuss the angle relationships formed by parallel lines cut by a transversal. Alright, so our learning goals, it is to derive relationships among angles formed by parallel lines cut by a transversal using measurement and by inductive reasoning. So before we go deeper to our discussion for this week, let's have first an activity which will also serve as a review of our lesson last week. So here is the direction. Match the real-life object in column A with the correct geometric term that it represents in column B. Okay, so before we start answering this, you can pause this video for less than a minute and then try to answer this activity on your own. And right after that, you can play again this video and see if you got the correct answers. Okay, for number 1, what do stars represent? And these geometric terms that we have in column B. So stars represent point. Okay, letter D. How about the stripes in or on a blouse? It represents line segment, diba? Because it doesn't extend on both directions. For number 3, one-way road sign. So since it only extends to one direction, so it represents ray. And then for number 4, two-way traffic sign, since it extends on both directions, it represents line. And for number 5, railroad crossing sign, so as we can see, the two lines are intersecting and it creates a right angle or a 90-degree measurement, meaning it represents perpendicular lines. Okay, and then for the last one, of course, the steps of the stairs, they represent parallel lines. Okay, now, so I hope you have remembered all these geometric terms and the objects that they represent. Now let's proceed to the angle relationships formed by parallel lines cut by a transversal. So here we have parallel lines and a transversal. Okay, so in this video, you're going to learn their relationships, whether they are congruent or supplementary angles. So dahil meron tayong transversal that cuts the parallel lines, so nagkaroon tayo ng iba't ibang angles. Okay, so yun yung i-discuss natin sa video na ito. Okay, so these are real-life examples of parallel lines cut by a transversal. So the parallel lines also have a transversal cutting through it. The picture is part of stair railings. Okay, so yung parallel lines, itong upward na railings natin, and then yung vertical railing, ayan, yan yung magsaserve as a transversal. And of course, ito, let's say, street view, okay? And then, may dalawang streets, and then the main road. So, nakabuo dito ng mga angles. Ayan, so these are real-life examples of parallel lines cut by a transversal. Okay, let's proceed to the congruent angles. So, ito yung mga angles na nabuo na congruent angles sila. Remember that when we say congruent angles, their measurement is equal. Okay, so let's have first the corresponding angles. When we say corresponding angles, a pair of non-adjacent interior and exterior angles on the same side of a transversal. So again, when we say non-adjacent or non-adjacent, because they don't have they don't share a common ray or a common side. Okay, so and the other angle is in the interior and the other one is on the exterior. Okay, and on the same side of a transversal, they are congruent. So another example, etong pattern na ito. Okay, so corresponding angles are congruent angles. So let's say this angle measures 120 degrees. What is the measure of this angle? Since they are congruent, it measures 120 degrees as well. Let's proceed to the alternate interior angles. So a pair of non-adjacent interior angles on opposite sides of a transversal. Again, they are non-adjacent. Okay, so from the name itself, alternate interior. Okay, so the other one is on the right side and the other one is on the left side. Pero yung upper left and lower right. Okay, or upper right and lower left. Okay, so they are congruent angles. So here we have two patterns, examples of alternate interior angles. So since they are congruent angles, let's say this angle measures 75 degrees. What is the measurement of this angle? Of course, it is 75 degrees as well. Next, let's proceed to the alternate exterior angles, a pair of non-adjacent exterior angles on opposite sides of a transversal. So, alternate exterior naman sila. So, we have here two patterns. Ayan yung isang angle nasa upper left and the other angle is on the lower right. And both of them are exterior angles. And vice versa naman dito sa pangalawang pattern. They are congruent angles as well. So, meaning if this angle measures 70 degrees, this angle here, of course, measures 70 degrees too. Alright, so, yeah, so those are congruent angles. So, before we proceed to the supplementary angles, mag-run through lang ulit tayo. We have the corresponding angles. So, ganyan yung itsura niya. And then the alternate interior angles. And of course, the alternate exterior angles. All of them are congruent angles. Now, let's proceed to the supplementary angles. So, we only have two. The same side interior angles and the same side exterior angles. So when we say same side interior angles on the same side of a transversal. By the way, remember that when we say supplementary angles, their sum is equal to 180 degrees. Okay, so don't forget about that. Again, interior angles on the same side of a transversal. So example, itong pattern number 1 natin, parehas silang nasa left side ng transversal and both of them are interior angles. So, same side interior angles, they are supplementary angles. And another pattern, nasa right side naman yung both angles ng transversal and then both of them are interior angles. So, let's say this angle measures 110 degrees. What is the measurement of this angle? It measures 70 degrees since they are supplementary angles. Their sum is equal to 180 degrees. Next, same side exterior angles. Exterior angles on the same side of a transversal. So, nasa exterior naman sila and then both of them, they are on the same side of a transversal. Ayan, for the pattern number 1, both of them are on the right side of the transversal and exterior angles. They are exterior angles. And for the pattern, the next pattern, both of them are on the left side of the transversal and exterior angles. And let's say this angle measures 125 degrees. What is the measurement of this angle? It measures 65. Oh, this should be 55 degrees. Okay, it measures 55 degrees. Sorry for the typographical error. Okay, so 55 degrees, and they are equal to 180 degrees. Okay, so those are the supplementary angles that are formed, okay, through parallel lines cut by a transversal. So before we end this video, let's have first a practice. So let us know if you have learned from this video. So the direction, identify what kind of angle pair do angles 1 and 2 form and their relationship. So for letter A, so what kind of angle pair do angles 1 and 2 form? So these are alternate exterior angles. And what is their relationship? They are congruent angles, meaning they are equal in measurement. For letter B, what kind of angle pair? So these are same side interior angles, right? And their relationship, they are supplementary angles. Their sum is equal to 180 degrees. Next one. How about this? These are corresponding angles. Since non-adjacent and then the other one is on the exterior and the other one is on the interior, and both of them are on the same side of the transversal. And their relationship is congruent angles. So they are equal in measurement. Next, these are alternate interior angles. And their relationship is congruent. They are congruent angles. Last but not the least, what kind of angle pair do angles 1 and 2 form? Here in this example. So these are same side exterior angles. Since they are same side exterior angles, their relationship is supplementary. Okay, they are supplementary angles. Okay, so that's all for this video. I hope you have learned a lot, and thanks for watching and listening.